What up, this is Carly Cosmo, the Aquarius Witch. Let's talk about why you should be honoring your ancestors and the importance of doing that. Let's also we'll talk about a lot of stuff within the ancestor realm. And I typically honor my highest ancestors, my highest greatest ancestors who have my highest and greatest good in mind. So for some of us, a lot of us actually who are Black, we actually do have a common ancestor, and that common ancestor typically has heavier energy. I'm not going to say in this video what that common ancestor's name is, but this ancestor typically has heavier energy, which in time, in part, is the reason why people kind of react to us in a heavier way, because this ancestor has had a lot of rumors spread about him, her, them, right? They've had a lot of rumors spread about them, and a lot of fear that has been propagated about them. So, you can even look at this as the Papa Legba of, I said I wasn't going to say their name, but yeah, you can look at them as the Papa Legba of our ancestors. So I'm letting you know this because a lot of us actually do get quite fearful, and we do actually fall into kind of a depression when this ancestor starts to come around. And if you smoke weed but you're not really into spirituality, or you're just getting to the you're just getting introduced to spirituality, it's a good time for you to learn more about this energy, because this energy does tend to have, even though it can be kind of light and trickstery, meaning that it's more playful, right? Even though it can be more playful, and sometimes it can steer you in a specific direction that's not the right direction for you. This is what it means when it's trickstery, is it steers you in that direction almost as a test. So you can test your ability to trust yourself and strengthen your ability to trust yourself. So I probably should make this in a different video, but I'm going to put it in this video right here, and then I'll probably keep this separate and then make a whole different video out of it. But yeah, this common ancestor typically has heavier energy, okay? And so this is why I'm kind of putting this in here right here, because some of us feel this energy and we get creeped out. We start cursing it out. We start shooing it away, but this is your ancestor, right? This is why it's important for you to learn how to speak and communicate with the spirit world. And also why you need to start clearing out the fear from out of your heart and out of your soul and out of your spirit. So you feel a spirit and you start to get nervous because the energy is heavier. And that's because it's carrying a lot of weight of gossip, a lot of weight of betrayal, especially a lot of weight of betrayal, because it's like a primordial ancestor, right? This energy is also, excuse me, because it's a primordial ancestor, this energy has also been around for a very long time, and long enough to experience and to witness many of our deaths, whether it be natural or whether it be horrifying, right? So during slavery times, right, for those of us who are brown and Black and even Irish white, right, because I firmly believe that this ancestor links us to the Celtic culture, especially if we are Jamaican, right? But that's a whole nother video right there. If I have the time here to give you that video, I'll give you that video. Okay, so damn, now I'm gonna have to edit this part. This ancestor, like I was saying, it witnesses a lot of shadowy energy as well. Witnesses a lot of negative things that happen to its own kin, right? Its own offspring. So sometimes it does come in with a heavier energy that we will have to help this energy, we will have to help the spirit, our ancestors, to clear that out as well. So it's always a good idea to pray for your ancestors. Pray for your ancestors, lighten their burden, make them offerings. That's why you make them offerings, to make them feel better too, right? It's like us coming over to our cousin's house and they have a plate prepared for us. It makes us feel like they care about us, even if it's something that we don't really eat. And this is especially in case of an estranged cousin, how do you say that word? Estranged cousin, right? Which is what we pretty much are. We're estranged people. So a lot of times, they do appreciate whatever it is that you give them, but you have to keep it open, your consciousness open, and asking. That looks like a huge ass knot on my head. And if you have these specific feelings about what they might want when they're older, give it to them. If you can, give it to them. If you can't explain that you can't give it to them, most likely 9 out of 10, they'll already know that you can't give it to them, and they'll be fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't listen to that. Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm going to have to cut this video. Also, I wouldn't listen to many people, right, who may say to you that you have to give your ancestors specific things, or this or that, or they're going to get mad at you and they're going to attack you. Whose ancestors is going to do that? Not yours, because your ancestors are here to help you and lift you up, because they want to help and lift them up. This is why you're holding on the highest order of ancestors as well, because you do have some people, a lot of us actually have those ancestors who are lost, especially after BC, right? Because of this holy book that kind of discriminates against ancestral veneration. And let me take this off. It kind of discriminates against ancestral veneration and taking care of your ancestral network in favor of taking care of someone else's ancestral network. If you pay attention to the Bible, and I'm not trying to get you to convert you away from Christianity, I'm not going to talk about Christianity, but in depth. But I am going to say here that if you pay attention to that book, it's all about their ancestors, the ancestors of Christ, supposedly, but especially of Solomon and King David. And those were the people who bound the spirits of nature, okay? And if you're anything like me, if you've been noticing anything about us black people, and especially of us black people and the brown people, right? We kind of look like nature ourselves. So I went trusting people who bound spirits of nature. Yeah, I don't know for you, but not for me. I'm not. I had to step away from that, and I had to be away from that for years for me to actually understand that that's what was happening. Like they're convincing me not to venerate my ancestors in favor of venerating their ancestors, number one. And number two, these people have bound the spirits of nature. And anybody who actually venerates nature, which gives us life, it's not just form of Jesus. Like, no disrespect to Jesus, because I came from Christianity. Like I said, I really took off my glasses. I can't see now. Go all the way up to the sky. Anyway, I'm not, I came from Christianity. So I have a certain type of respect for the spirit of Christ, because I did learn a lot from that spirit, but, or the spirit that answered to that name of Jesus Christ, because thought forms are created every single day, and then people occupy those thought forms every single day as well. So it is what it is, By the way, I firmly believe too that Jesus Christ is the spirit of nature, that Jesus Christ is a jinn. And especially after Solomon made it with Queen Sheba, who is rumored to have been half jinn, right? So, or half demon, which is like, for me, it's the same thing. It's half jinn. Like, as above, so is below. This is the spirit of nature. You know, if you have even an angel, even an angel is a spirit of nature. Like, what? They're made of light, pure light, so they say, so people say, right? But they are actually stars, right? Study astrology. If you have not studied astrology, study astrology, even though just a little bit. Like, look up Archangel Michael and the Aldebaran star, right? Because that's the same thing. That's what Archangel Michael was based off of, was the angle of the Aldebaran star. So that's also another spirit of nature, you know. So this is really, I firmly have picked up that, I don't want to say believe again, but I firmly have picked up that, number one, this is a ploy to get people away from honoring their ancestors. Number one, and specifically, the number one reason that this Bible even exists, that these religions, the major three religions especially, exists, is to get you away from honoring your earthly ancestors, to get you away from this earth, right? So if you're not honoring your ancestors anymore, then you're not honoring your connection to this earth, because essentially this is where we live. This is our boat. This is our ship. This is where we come from. You know, the solar system is where we come from. So this is why I think a lot of people don't believe or don't feel like they're from here. Well, number one, is because this earth has changed a lot through the infiltration of these systems, like the religious systems. People are not honoring their ancestors anymore. They're not honoring nature anymore. So nature's not really honoring them. Then you have people who do continually honor nature. And I need to move this over so I could be looking like I'm looking. Okay, so you have people who do honor nature, right? And their family has honored nature. Like that Spanish boy who is always giving, that he does the videos where he's like giving the deers apples and grapes and all that stuff, and then I don't know. Let me not even get into that negativity. And this is actually my phone rang just now, so I'm not sure where I left off at, but the conversation that I just had kind of reminds me of another reason why it's super important. Okay, now I remember. So yeah, it's like honoring other people's ancestors, right? And the spirits of nature is like, okay, the boy who was always, I had to kind of, I had to trace my steps. So the kid who is constantly giving these animals apples and, feeding it, like, he's been blessed. Like, he's gone viral. He's getting a little bit of money. He's gotten a lot of, he's gotten a few sponsorships. And I know it's kind of like, over the past few years, kind of worn off all of the popularity. But it still happened, It was still a blessing. It was still a blessing as far as I can see. I don't know how it affected him. But there's always different reasons for certain things like that, for if it affected him adversely. I don't think it did. Anyway, because I'm guessing. I'm guessing about that. But I'm not guessing about the blessings that came after he first made his videos, right? People got really, really interested because it's like, wow, look at nature interacting with somebody, not killing them. Wow, look at him interacting with nature and God didn't kill him. And that's what we've been kind of hypnotized into thinking is going to happen through these major religions, right? When we stop honoring the Son of Man, the Son of Man. When we stop honoring, and this is the fucked up part, right? We honor the Son of Man, but we don't honor our own ancestors because they're human beings. They're not gods. But we honor the Son of Man. Even though he says that ye are gods. So it's like, I don't know what the freak. I don't know where we got roped into it at. I do actually. I'm going to do another video about that too. Because I got some downloads about that. How we ended up getting so hypnotized by that particular story. Right? And it actually comes from the Son of Man, because the Son of Man is pretty cool. The Son of Man is pretty cool. Like, I have no problem with admitting that I like the Son of Man. Jesus, he's pretty cool. Like, when I talk to him, especially when I talk to him, see him as a certain being that used to be here on this earth up until last year. So, that's pretty exciting. And then when you get that visitation, it's like, wow, this is real. It's fucking real. It is fucking real. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, honoring your ancestors. I think this is the reason why a lot of us are why depression has been so heavy over the past, but I can't even say like decade. It's been more than a decade. It's been like since the 1980s, so like 3 decades now. 4 decades? Oh my God. 4 decades now that depression has really 4 or 5, like since the 1970s, really, right? And that's why people do a lot of drugs and shit to like kind of relieve themselves of the reality, because with your ancestors here, they've lived before you. This is what the Orishas are for. This is what the Orishas do, right? The Orishas, they help you to see how to live and survive and to create a good life for yourself in this reality, in this time and space, right? So your ancestors, having lived this life before, even though they've lived in a different time, they have lived through certain situations that we have lived through and that we're going through and that we might go through in the future. And so they're able to give us some great insight and help us to understand how to go through those things, and also how to uplift ourselves from those things, like those pits of darknesses that we might fall in. Your ancestors, especially you who are brown and black and Irish, right? Those of your ancestors who have been enslaved, tell me that they wouldn't be the perfect people to help you to get out of this pit that you might fall in your head. Especially the ones who made it through, right? Sorry, my nose keeps on itching. So it's like, these ancestors, these beings, they will help you through these hard times. Especially these times where people purposely try to make it hard for you in order to consume your energy. Because there are people like that too. Which is the the reason for a lot of things that are happening right now is because people want to weigh you down so much that you're not utilizing your energy. And the Bible, because the Bible is based partially on truth, and around the truth built in lies. So it's like, you got to be discerning when you're reading that Bible. You got to be really careful. And in fact, I don't advocate it. And when I have children, I'm not going to expose that to them, because there's a built-in curse into that Bible as well. And they constantly update that Bible to constantly update the curse. So I'm not interested really in sharing that with my child and in sharing it with my future ancestors, and especially not interested in possibly stepping back into it when I reincarnate, right? I'm super good. Super good. So yeah. I lost my track. My train of thought. Your ancestors will help you to bring yourself up out of a lot of situations, many situations that you might not even find, that you feel like you can get yourself out of. You know, they give you hope, they give you energy. Energy. This is why I like Babylonian language. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I like America too. It was like, okay, you slave bitch. You slave bitch. You like Jesus Christ and you like America. That's B. Because motherfucking CERN likes to fucking harvest melanin and shit. Melanin is super important. The more that you venerate your and honor your melanin, the more that you weigh it down with pride, the more, and I'm not talking about like the bad type of pride, I'm talking about the good type of pride that makes you feel good, that keeps you away from depression, that wards depression off, that's like, not today, motherfucker. Because I feel good about myself. I love me. Bitch, I love the way I look. I love the way I smell. I love the way my hair is standing up. It's so big and I can't wait until it get bigger. I love this brown skin, the way that it's mixed with gold and red and purple and blue and green. I see it when I hold my hand out in the sun. The sun blesses my skin. I love me. Right? I love me. That's the type of pride that I'm talking about. It's filling yourself up with good feelings, good material, good energy, right? All right, that's what I was saying. I really do like Babylonian language, though, because it's so easy to break it down and fill it in and understand, overstand, comprehend, compute. It's really, really easy. Because it's built from so many different languages. It's a fucking melting pot. It's so diverse. You know? I have an appreciation for that. I have an appreciation for Jesus. I have an appreciation for a lot of things. You know, even the things that are that are technically bad for me, that were meant for my for my downfall. I even have an appreciation for that curse because it's like, wow, you have to be a fucking genius to write something so fucking intricate. Like, you covered this and then you covered that and then you covered this and then you covered that. Like, you covered almost every part of human belief. That's fucking really, really intelligent. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of amazed by it. I am. It's like, it's so well planned and well plotted. And no, I don't appreciate it, but it's well, in a lot of ways I don't appreciate it, but in a certain way I do appreciate it, right? Because it's like, man, you have to have studied us hard in order to do something like that. And I honestly do believe that it was one of us that did that. That's why slavery happened the way that it happened, too. You know, as above, so is below. But I digress. Again, that's for a different video, right? But in conclusion, it is really, really great for you to honor your ancestors, because your ancestors are always going to be here with and for you. You ever, like, before you even got into this, you ever had something crazy going on and you just like, oh my God, please just take care of this. Like, I'm just so tired. Like, a thought of your grandmother pops up or something like that, and then like 20 minutes later the problem is solved. Or a thought of this is even greater, right? I'm looking for this painting because I painted. I made this. I made this painting, and there I have another painting over there that actually rhymes with this a little bit. I made this painting like years ago. Years ago. It says, "Night is coming, still fear nothing," and it's talking about this time of the time of revelation, right? It's supposed to be much scarier than what it is, and it is kind of scary here because people are fucking flipping out and losing their mind because they're not honoring them. Not only are they not honoring their ancestors, but they are also not honoring themselves. So they're like getting really, really frustrated, and they're like killing themselves and killing other people, and like doing terrible things because they don't know how to handle the energies. But that's a whole nother video too. Also, we're all star people. So it's like black, white, it really doesn't fucking matter. I understand people can be just, whatever, I'm not going to go into that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that in a different video. We're going to do that in a different video because we have to go. We need to be moving forward with more open eyes and more clearer agendas and clearer intuition and intentions as well. Because not having these clear intentions, we're gonna end up fucking fighting the war that's not meant for us. It's none of our fucking business because people are manipulating us, right? Based off of feelings that we inherited from a terrible time in our ancestors' life, which is why veneration is doubly important at this time, because there are people that are trying to remind us of that energy. Remind our energy of that time, really, rather, is what I should say, right? They're trying to remind our energy of that time where we didn't have hope or choice. Make America great again. And they're like, there's a lot of people who are like, when was America great? And I'm like, yo, 1999 was pretty cool. you gotta find blessings. You have to search for them. Otherwise, people will fill in your memory with garbage. Nonsense. Okay? So this is the importance of veneration, because you're filling in your own storage systems, right? Your stories. Like that Bible was history. You have your own storage units within you. And I'm going to break that down. What I mean by that in a different video. But I'm not doing it today. That carries these experiences with you. And so yes, you need to be searching, especially right now, for those times where it felt good. It felt good when I was younger in 1995 and fucking Fugees was out, Jay-Z, the music was great. I mean, like, elementary school was pretty awesome. It's pretty alright, you know. Like, that time I read Harry Potter, that was pretty great. Like, little things. I'm so serious. Little things to fill up your ship, to fill up your experiences so that you have a greater, not only a greater anticipation, a better anticipation of life, but also have a greater love for where you are right now. Greater appreciation, that's the word I was actually going for. Though anticipation actually works as well, because every day, what we feel sets us up for our expectations of what we're going to experience and what we're anticipating on filling ourselves with the next day, right? And feeling the next day. So this is why it's really, really important for you to search. And I'm talking to myself too, because sometimes it's just really fucking hard, especially if you like have like depression or like you coming out of a space of depression, you're coming out of a space where you, oh God, when you're just doing your spiritual wake up, right? Because at that time when you're doing your spiritual wake up, this is when you're merging and getting in tune with your ancestors. So a lot of your ancestors have depression as well. It's inherited. So it feels terrible sometimes, but that's the importance of doing that veneration, so that you can help yourself to feel better. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go now because I feel like I've been babbling for like 10 minutes, even though I know that I haven't been. I don't know what else I can tell you. As for you to understand how important it is for you to venerate your ancestors. It's literally building yourself up. Okay? It's literally building yourself up by venerating your ancestors, by talking good to them. Because when you talk good to the Lord, which is not Jesus, by the way, when you talk good to the Lord, unless you're saying the Lord Jesus Christ, then that's Jesus. But if you're just saying the Lord and you're referring to the Bible, then you're probably talking about Solomon or David. Read that book. or don't read it. If you want to prove to yourself that what I'm saying is right or wrong, read Proverbs, where Solomon actually calls himself the Lord and said that he's going to come at you left and right and all of that shit. But anyway. Also, if you want to prove something to yourself and you want to prove that you're not crazy about wanting to leave this religion, compare that literature, especially Genesis. Oh my God, please read the first part of Genesis, like the first 2 pages of Genesis, and then go and read the original stories of Satan and Shaitan in the Islam stories, okay? And then go read the Lilith story in Judaism, and then you'll be like, okay, I'm done with this shit. No, you're not going to control my mind. You're not going to control my moon, which is, by the way, study astrology as well, because black moon Lilith colors the moon, and that is talking about your emotions. Eve is the mother of all, which is the moon, and she is the mother of all emotions, right? She's actually the daughter of the mother of all, which is Neptune, but I'm digressing. Because people are really get really afraid that people are going to see them crazy. Well, look, the more people who do this work, the more people are going to be like eccentric like me and eclectic, and the less that people are going to have the room to even call you crazy, because it's like you venerate your ancestors too, don't you? You get excited when you're talking about them too, don't you? See how I love that. I do. I love that when you can see them on my face, right? I'm a Scorpio MC too, so that's kind of why my face kind of shades over sometimes when I start talking and getting really excited or really passionate about something that I'm talking about. Yeah, my face kind of shades over, and you kind of see it seems really dark. So, not apologizing, just letting you know. Anyway, I'm done with this video. I'll probably make a part 2 just to nail it in. Probably won't, because I don't really need to, right? Who knows? Who knows what I'll do tomorrow? I don't know. I'm keeping my options open. Anyway, peace. I feel like there was like one more thing that I wanted to say before I click off the video, so I'm going to do this really slow, just in case I remember what it is that I wanted to say before I click off the video. So this is actually going to tie... I definitely clicked off the video and then came back. But anyway, this is also going to tie in with my next video that they want me to make, which I want to make as well. But keep an open mind when you're reading about Shaitan, because that's like the biggest lie. That's where the lie is based. The lie of reality is based on that story and your belief about Shaitan, which is actually the owner of the 10th house, which is where we live in. So that's also another reason why we end up having like a really terrible experience here, because we're being really disrespectful to the owner of this house. This is why we also have to do a lot of work, because the owner of this house, like, he's a mad scientist. So it's like we're literally working shit out for him as he's calculating like the next reality and the next portal into the new world that we'll be living in pretty soon, actually. So, yeah. Keep an open mind to Shaitan. Keep an open mind to that. And realize that nothing is as it seems. Not even if you hate, and especially if you hate Jews. Oh my God, I'm going to have to do a video. Let me just... Alright, let me finish saying this. Jews are what we call, or what is referred to as a scapegoat. Okay? Those are scapegoats. White people, almost in the same category, except they're being used even more, and they're like more brainwashed in the using of them. That is not that. So I'm going to leave you with another hint, just in case I don't get to tell you more, right? I'm setting us up for success here, right? So after you read or like just research those little pieces of the Bible, of the Quran, of the Torah, then I would definitely suggest that you also research a little bit of the Vedic texts. Research a little bit of that as well, especially Lord Indra's portions of the Vedic texts, because that's going to give you an even greater understanding, and you're going to be like, wow. Wow. This shit right here is outrageous. That's what you're going to say to yourself. You're going to be like, you did this much for what? That's because somebody wanted to be xtian when he wasn't. Anyway, it's a whole different video. Alright, now, peace.